After another week of exciting IPL action, it's time to catch up with our man in Delhi, Chetan Narula. Hello, Chetan.
Hi, John.
Well, it's been another exciting week. We've had some upsets, Pune Warriors at Kings XI Punjab making progress, and some thrillers as well, particularly Royal Challengers Bangalore, Chennai Super Kings. What a game that was. But what about your reflections on the second week of the competition?
Well, yes, I think the second week has carried on from the first week in a particular way, in that it has brought in some surprises for everyone. As you mentioned, quite a few thrilling games, quite a few games that went to the last over, to the last ball, a couple of high-scoring games, and of course, teams which have been considered to be out of contention before the tournament began, or perhaps also in the first week, have actually come back. And the favourites are not doing really well. I mean, you mentioned Kings XI Punjab winning 2 games. I think Royal Challengers Bangalore lost 3 games in 1 week, and also the Chennai lost 2 games out of 3 in 1 week. So not really going well for the teams which usually do well. But teams like Kings XI Punjab, who were ruled out before the tournament, they're trying to make a comeback. Pune and Rajasthan are maintaining their supremacy at the top of the table, and also you have to consider Mumbai, who are not doing too well. I think a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Harbhajan Singh. He's probably not, the results are not coming in. I'm not going to say that he's not dealing well with it, but the results are not coming in yet for them.
Now, one of the players of the tournament so far, undoubtedly Ajinkya Rahane, scored a wonderful century, also scored 98 earlier on in the tournament. We got a little bit of a glimpse of him over here in England last year. He's looked like a very fine player there. He really has been outstanding for the Royals, hasn't he?
Yes, totally. I think he's been the one outstanding player, not just for Rajasthan Royals, I think in the whole of Indian Premier League this season, the one outstanding player. Had 98 in the first week, and now he's gone one step further, getting the first century of this fifth season of the Indian Premier League. Yes, he is you can say he's an all-round batsman. He has the technique to stay at the wicket. He has the shots to score runs, and not just the subcontinental pitches we're talking about. As you mentioned, you saw him in England last year, so he has the wherewithal to score abroad also, which has been one of the major problems for Indian batting order. You have people like Suresh Raina who are not really adept at playing the bouncier ball. We haven't really seen him play the bouncier ball, but his technique and the way he batted in England last year, it just shows that he has the technique to be successful outside of India, which is very good, because he's been knocking on the doors. He was in the squad to Australia, but could not find a spot in the 4 Test matches there, then could not find a spot in the ODIs for the CP Series and the Asia Cup. But I think with this, the Indian Premier League has always been a platform for the young players to announce themselves. But the fact of the matter is that he is somebody who's already in the eye of the selectors. He's been one who's been scoring consistently in the domestic circuit. However, he's not made the final step towards the national selection. With consistent performances in the IPL, with these eye-catching performances in the IPL, I think he can take that final step, because all talk on Twitter and social media has since he scored that 100 has been, how is he not in the Indian lineup yet? So probably when the new season starts, we will see him playing for India, and very soon that will be, I hope.
Absolutely. Now, it's always interesting during the IPL to see the influence of the foreign stars. Over the years, we've seen South Africans performing very well. Australians are always very strong. If you look at Shaw Marsh in the first season. This season, in the first couple of weeks, we've had a lot of West Indies performing very well. Sunil Narine, Kevin Cooper, Kieran Pollard, and also some English players as well. Owais, Shah, Kevin Peterson, and Dimitri Mascarenhas even got in there with a 5-wicket haul. What have you made of all that? It's quite a different dynamic to the tournament.
I think you've missed out a very important factor. I think the South African players have been the best so far. I mean, you talk about Dale Steyn, JP Duminy is already scoring runs right now, and a couple of other South African players as well. The South African players have really put their stamp on this year's IPL, along with the West Indies and the Englishmen, of course.
Yeah.
I think this is much more to do with the foreign flavour that was first mooted when the IPL concept came about. The fact that 4 foreign players are going to be in the playing 11, and the big factor is that it has stayed consistent over the years. So you get people like Sunil Narine and Kevin Cooper who can get a chance. Somebody like Owais, Shah, he's been in the IPL forever. I mean, he was there since 2008, 2009, but he's never really gotten a consistent run. Now he's found a team, or a team has found him suited to their needs, and look at him, he's flourishing. I think he should be he should be, a key. He should be a shoo-in for a place in the English T20 squad for the T20 World Cup later on in Sri Lanka. Such is his form and such is his contribution, what he brings to the table. Of course, Kevin Peterson has really come up and challenged for Delhi. I mean, Delhi have overnight become a contender team in this particular season. And you look at Kevin Cooper, and he is one of those players who've not been paid too much, but what they bring to the table in terms of their all-round effort, their bowling, their fielding, their batting, it's just a little too much for any team to ask for, and that's where the team benefits. So the influence, of course, this is one of the key aspects of the Indian Premier League, that you have the foreign players who will always excite, who will always bring a different parameter to the performance, and of course the crowds will come in here, because somebody like Kieran Pollard, the crowds absolutely love him, they adore him wherever he goes across the country, and he deserves that, because he brings so much to the table, he brings so much excitement to the game, and they're always looking forward to his biggest. So this foreign flavor is a standout aspect of the IPL, and it's really shining because of the close games this year.
It's very interesting. You mentioned social media and everybody sort of saying about Rahane, why isn't he in the India side? There's a little bit of that with Owais Shah at the moment. A lot of people on Twitter and Facebook and columns saying, well, could he get himself back into the team? So that's going to be one to monitor throughout the rest of the tournament, I think, because if he fades, then obviously perhaps he's not going to be the right man. But if he continues to score runs, then he's going to be a very good option for England later on in the year. What are you sort of most looking forward to next in this next sort of week or so, Chetan, before we speak again?
Well, we have two games in Delhi, one on Thursday and one on Saturday. I'll be attending them both, and Delhi have been on an upswing recently. They really scored a major win in Mumbai earlier this week. So if they can make it two more wins out of the next two games, they will be top of the table. And as I said, they are one of the teams who are in contention now. But you really need to be consistent to be really up there. And Delhi have made a shift towards that particular thing, because last season we saw them really struggling in this particular part of the tournament because they were lacking in their bowling and their batting a bit. But the new names have come in. They have a superb middle order now with Jayawardene, Peterson and Ross Taylor, and the bowling under the leadership of Morne Morkel is doing really well. So this should be the week where Delhi really step it up a gear. They've already won one match. They have two more to go, and I think by the end of the week they will be the top side in the IPL.